You know something I said before, and I'll say it again. America need God. We need God like never before. Yet, due to political incorrectness, we can't even hardly speak God's name in society anymore. But I'm gonna tell you something. I don't care who you are. If you notice this, whenever you take God out, government increases, trying to take the place of God. Now, we have over 16 million people who are still unemployed. What are you going to do about that? Where are these jobs? You have to understand, in the last 10 years, over 55,000 manufacturing plants have been outsourced or closed down. That's over 3 million people right there. And now they want to close down post offices. You know how many millions more people that is? Yet everybody claims it's the Democrats who's at fault. It's the Republicans. They are both equally responsible for the devastated economy and the effect on the population. Let me tell you something. You know, you have over 52 million people who are uninsured. What are we going to do about that? Do you know just a 2 or 3 nights in a hospital can cost you up to from $150,000? And most jobs don't even have the insurance to cover that kind of cost anymore. Yet, insurance costs are skyrocketing. Who's going to pay for this? The average citizen doesn't even have that. What are we going to do? We need God like never before. We're becoming a godless society, and it shows. Even our schoolyards are battlegrounds. 16 million unemployed and 42 million people are on food stamps, and the number is rising. Yet, the liberals say it's the conservatives say it's the liberals. They are both equally responsible. Nobody asked anybody to sign laws like that NAFTA trade agreement to send people job overseas, the outsourced job. Nobody asked anybody to do that. But yet, the first thing they say, we have 3 million jobs that nobody can fill. You have 16 million people who are unemployed. Millions upon millions of people were working in plants that were closed down. It's a poor excuse to say that they are not capable or educated enough. Nobody asked anybody who's working. None of these people who are unemployed asked anybody to outsource their jobs. We are turning into a godless society, and it's showing. And I'll tell you another thing. In order, we have to change Washington. If we're not going to get any different results, if we keep voting for the same old people with the same old ideologies, trickle down economics does not work. Keynesian economics does not work. They have both have one thing they have both have one thing in common: a toilet stool, because you can just flush it down the stool, because that's about as effective they are. And I'll tell you something else too. In order to change Washington D.C., you have to change who you send there. Do you understand me? You're not going to get anything different voting for the same old people with the same old policies. It's like the same old plate of food, this warmed up over and over and over again. Nothing has changed. Tax breaks to billionaires who are not creating jobs, but are creating jobs overseas is not going to help Americans. Remember, your the government have passed laws, Congress to send the outsourced jobs overseas. These people have been paid off by big business and special interest groups. You have to remember one thing. Most people are most politicians are as full of crap as a constipated elephant, and about almost as trustworthy. I don't care who they are. I'm not a Democrat or Republican. I'm a Christian. That's why, and the only one I vote for is I do research on these people before I vote for them, at least to get an idea of what they stand for. If they're not for the average everyday American, I'm not going to vote for them. I'm not going to vote for them. I don't care what color they are. And I'm not going to vote for Mitt Romney. That's for sure. I could understand Ron Paul, but Mitt Romney, flip-flopping all over the place. These people are dangerous. And most of the Democrats, I'm not going to vote for them. Like I said, if they're for the average, everyday, ordinary American and the welfare and their insurance, I'm for them. And I'm going to tell you something else, what they did here in South Carolina. And you know, South Carolina is a conservative-led state. They brought jobs here, all right. You know what they did? They work you 7 days a week in a lot of those jobs, 56 hours a week, and that's the least. And there's no overtime. And oh yeah, if they say, and you have to sign a paper that you don't want a union, or else they will fire you. And in other jobs, I've worked in a job where you had, out of 12 hours, you had a 20-minute lunch break, and they will fire you on the spot. That's the kind of job that the conservatives have brought in. And some of the Democrats have signed to bring them in too. So they are, Democrats and Republicans are equally responsible. Some scientists, some leading economic professors have said we will never see the economy of not only America, of the world get any better in our lifetime. Remember, it's not just America, it's the world. This whole economic status was brought on by greed. Do you understand me? We have to vote. Vote, get out there and pray and vote before we won't have an America, because we're starting to resemble a third world country. Remember, ask the Lord to guide you in your voting. Do research, then cast your vote. I've heard some people, well, voting won't make a difference. Oh, yes, it will. It's that kind of thinking that got us into this mess. I'm not trying to tell anybody who to vote for. All I'm telling you to is to vote. Do research, ask questions, read, and then ask the Lord to guide you in your vote. God bless you, and may God keep you. And pray.